Namaskar. Today we will be studying the Narada Bhakti Sutra. So every month, first Saturday morning 11 to 12, we used to go to the Hindu temple of the Lemont. So that class we are giving from here because of the pandemic. So let us begin with this mantra, and many of you know, please chant along with me. Yashya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate namastashmai Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. I bow down to the Lord Vishnu, the great God, whose mere remembrance makes one free from the bondage of birth and death. Only by remembering. So that is the Vishnu. But only by remembering. When I just remember Lord Vishnu, I get liberation. Of course we can, but if we have the devotion. And what is that devotion? Narada, the great sage, he is teaching us. Friends, we have already had the 2 talks on this, and today we are going to have the 3rd talk on Narada Bhakti. The God is nothing but love. The God is love. The last month we read the 2nd aphorism, where the great Narada explained the devotion as intense love for God. Sa tashmin parama prema rupa. Parama means intense, the supreme. Prema rupa is love. Love, as if it's taking a form. Prema rupa. The intense love for God is that. Now those blessed souls who had the vision of God behave from the viewpoint of the worldly people like the mad persons. The mystical experience breaks the idea of body, mind, ego. Hence, in the presence of God, the realized one cry, laugh, dance, sing, try hard to express the inner joy. So that is exactly what it happens. Sa tashmin parama prema rupa. The prema rupa, this intense love, and after the realization of that, after having the vision of God, when that love comes, then how he will express? You know, in the life of Bhagavan, the Swami Vivekananda, he never accepted goddess Kali, and he was one of the member of the Brahma Samaj. So obviously, the things were in a different way he was thinking. The Brahma Samaj, they took something from the Christianity, something from the Hinduism, and then they merged it, and that is the way they were developing that philosophy. As a young Narendra, 17, 18 years, he also joined in that, and many of the young people, they joined in that. Now what happened? Afterwards, when his father passed away, though he was a very rich people, but now the moment he passed away, all his property, money, wealth was grabbed by the relatives. Narendra was not very much interested in those things, so he never cared for those, and automatically they were almost having nothing even to eat. The Narendra tried to get some job here and there, he couldn't get that. Ultimately, he came to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Those who have read the biography, you know. And then he said, "Sir, I know that your mother, that means Mother Kali in Dakshinesha, listened to your prayer. Will you please pray for me? I want a job badly because my mother, my brothers, sisters, they are not getting even the food. I want to earn. And he was a graduate from Calcutta University in those days. Even then he was not getting a job. When he got a job in a school as a teacher, and other teachers, as because he was a different type of teacher, he used to teach in a completely different way. His clarity was excellent. The other teachers, they became jealous and they complained to the authority, and he had to lose the job over there too. In this situation, this condition, he came to Sri Ramakrishna for help through mystical power. Sri Ramakrishna said, see, you are not accepting the power of God. That is the reason, so this is the problem he's having. So that is the reason you should go and pray yourself. So he went to Goddess Kali, and there he saw the living goddess. It was not the image, it was the complete, that goddess standing over there. And seeing that, now friends, this is the point we have to note, that the direct realization, the mystical revelation of the God or goddess, then what happened? When he saw that, he was overwhelmed. And the prayer that was there within his mind, in his subconscious mind, he never wanted to be entangled in the worldly life. So he prayed not for money or job, he prayed for the spiritual wealth, the viveka, vairagya and all other things. So this is the way. And then second time, the third time, then ultimately Sri Ramakrishna was going on sending, oh, have you asked for money? Have you asked for the job? Go, go, go. The first time, second time, third time. Then ultimately he was convinced and he was full with joy. He came to Sri Ramakrishna and he said, sir, can you please teach me a song by which I can express my joy, the joy of the vision of Goddess Kali? That it says, Parama Prema Rupa, the tremendous joy, the excellent joy, the unlimited joy, the little joy that we have, by that way only we become mad. But imagine when one sees the God standing before him or her, what will happen? So that is exactly what happened to Swami Vivekananda. I am telling you this story to explain this Parama Prema Rupa. The moment we read, okay, that much. But what is this? A personality like Swami Vivekananda, who was so strong and intellectually convinced, but even then when he stood face to face with that goddess Kali, who was covering the whole world, the benign face, everything is happening because of her power. By seeing that, even the Narendranath, Vivekananda was also became mad. And afterwards, much afterwards, Swami Vivekananda, he was teaching Narada Bhakti Sutra, the book that we are studying here, in Thousand Island Park. It was a small group of people. Swamiji chosen a few handful, not the mass, because they won't understand. So he wanted to make a group of hardly 12, so that they afterwards, this American, they afterwards can continue preaching the Vedanta, studying the Vedanta. So with that motto, he started a retreat in the Thousand Island Park. Friends, if you go over there, still that building is there where Swamiji stayed. Now it has become a part of the Vedanta Society. It is maintained by the New York Vedanta Society. And And the room where he stayed, where he meditated, where he gave the class, on the chair where he sat, everything is still there. And the path, the jungle path, still as it is. And America, because it is very vast and less population, they can afford to keep the things as it is. It is there as it is. If you go and see, the Swamiji taught the Narada Bhakti Sutra over there and gave the devotion and also the knowledge, and he used to walk in that path with his students, and sometimes he will be choosing one or two, teaching them meditation and slowly transforming them into the Vedantic ideology. That was an excellent thing that he did. So this Narada Bhakti Sutra, when he was teaching, there he said, thinking of God, some weep, some sing, some dance, some say wonderful things. Then he commented, but all speak of nothing but God. All speak of nothing but God. Some they are singing, some they are dancing, and this wonderful thing that happens, some cry, they weep. Sometimes some devotees, they write to me, or some over telephone also they ask, Swamiji, when we are thinking about God, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna trying to do the puja, there's so much, I don't know why I start crying, and so much so I can't do that properly. I told you are blessed, because thinking of God, sitting before the image with a picture of God, and you are thinking, oh God, I can't serve you properly, that feeling, the God and God feeling, bringing tears in the eyes, you must be blessed one. So this is the love for God, not for any object. Friends, the Narada has never mentioned the word God. And he mentioned that, eat like that. He said, Sa tasmin parama prema rupa. Sa. This sa, that. So that is, then what is God? Narada is taking our mind towards the ultimate God, which is our own soul, which is the consciousness. So he is not telling it is he or she, not giving any other definition. But unless we have a little idea about God, we won't be able to proceed. Because in the devotion, the first thing is the conception of God, the idea about God first. Then the conviction that God is there. Though I can't see, I can't touch, I can't talk, I can't feel, but still I believe that God is there because the great soul, they said it. They are like the mirrors. So we see God on them, the reflection of God in them. So that is the way we have to think. The God is there, we have to call, then the devotion. For devotion, we will once again go back to Narada, but before that, let us go to Vishnu Purana, which the Shankaracharya, the great Shankara, he has also quoted from there. And in the last class, when we were talking about the God, I mentioned about the Patanjali Yoga Darshan. The Patanjali, the great Rishi, the father of the yoga aphorisms, and he said, you can control your mind by, he is giving 1, 2, 3 different options, and he mentioned that by concentrating on God, Ishvara pranidhanat va. Ishvara pranidhana. Pranidhana means concentrating. By concentrating on God. Now, he is mentioned, what is this God? He said, karma, klesha, karma, vipaka, ashaya, aparamishta, purusha vishesha, ishvara. The 24th aphorism of the Patanjali Yoga Darshan. The 24th aphorism, it says, first is the klesha. I won't go into details, But the klesha, karma, etc. What is the klesha? Filth. What type of filth? 5 different. And say first is avidya, ignorance. Ashmita, egoism. Raga, desire. Desha, aversion. Avinibesha. So these 5 things, avidya, ashmita, raga, desha, avinibesha. You will find it in the Yoga Sutra. And then Swami Vivekananda's the Raja Yoga, there also you will find it very nicely. And then what is that? Klesha. These are the 5 klesha. The Lord, the God is free from these 5 klesha. Then comes karma, good or bad. Lord is not doing any karma. Then vipaka, the result of the action, result of the karma. God is free from that. Ashaya, desire to have the result. So all centered with the karma. Because karma, it start functioning on the basis of the ego. If the ego is there, then the desire will come. When the desire is there, then accordingly the functions will also come, actions will also come. So obviously, the God is not having the ego. The basic that is not there. So that is the reason God is completely free from karma, vipaka and ashaya. Aparamrishta. It is unattached to anything and everything. It is not attached. It is there. The Krishna was there, very much there. He is the pivotal character of the Mahabharata. But at the same time, Krishna is with no one, not even with the Pandavas, not even with the clan for whom he fought so much. Ultimately, he left. So we are studying the last part of the Krishna. So the last message of Krishna that he gave to Uddhava, that is also we are studying. So this is, it's called karma, vipaka, ashaya, aparamrishta, purusha vishesha. Is the male body? Again wrong. The purusha means the one who is inside the heart. Who is inside the heart? The consciousness, that whom we call God, the Chetana. Chetana means that consciousness, that who is present in every heart, in every soul, and who is free from all karma, having no desire, and not also that he is completely free from kleshas. He is full of knowledge. There is no avidya, there is no ignorance, there is no I consciousness, no ego, asmita. So that is called God. So we get an idea, a conception about God, Ishvara, the Lord, from Patanjala. Then we come to Vishnu Purana, which gives the complete definition of the God. Utpattim cha vinasham cha bhutanam agatim gatim. Very simple way it says, Vetti vidyam avidyam cha sa vacho bhagavaniti. So who is this God? One who is fully aware of creation. Utpatti. Where from this creation came? None of us know. The scientists are trying very hard, and the black hole theory, these, that, they are going on. But this God, the whom we can call God, he is very clear about it. Utpattim cha, vinasham cha, also knows the dissolution. About the dissolution, he has complete idea. So many people, because they are become very popular and people start loving their talks and all that, they simply start calling them Bhagavan. No, we cannot. The Bhagavan should have these wonderful qualities. The one whom we can call God should have these qualities. First is Utpatti, the creation, and Vinasham cha, dissolution. We call Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna out of just love, as because we are following his philosophy, as because we are in his group. No, not like that. Those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, they know At ease, he could say about the person, people. When the Master Mahashaya came, the recorder of his talk, when he came to him, he was asking him, are you married? Have you son? Like that. Master Mahashaya got puzzled. Why he's asking this? Then he said, I saw you in the group of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Look at it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu almost 500 years before him. And he saw the Master Mahashaya, the person who entered in his room, he saw him and immediately said, I saw you in the group of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I know that you are having a very good quality, spiritual quality. And if you were free, not married, you could do a lot of things. To spread the message of the God, we need a free person, otherwise it will be difficult. So Sri Ramakrishna immediately, Vinashamcha, Bhutanam agatim gatim. The future of prosperity gain, the Bhutanam agatim gatim, and also the loss, the future adversity. A person came to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and he was very shy. He was not praying to him for anything. Day after day, he used to come and stand in a corner of the room, looking at him. The one day, Sri Ramakrishna noticed and say, hey, you come regularly. So many people are asking, requesting, praying for things, but you never prayed anything. What do you want? He said, when I hear the prayer that other people are putting before you, they are praying for God, the God realization, and all spiritual thing. But I am so ashamed to speak because I don't want spiritual development. I want only money. I want to be somebody in this society. How can I say that before you? How can I ask that to you? You are a spiritual man. Immediately Sri Ramakrishna said, as they said, gain, agatim gatim. Agatim gatim. Immediately he said, he knew what is going to happen to him. He said, you will become a very, very rich person. And in a very wonderful way, he mentioned that how big, how rich. He said, even an elephant will be there at your door. The maintaining an elephant is a very, very costly thing. Only kings can do that. So that you will be very rich. And truly he became rich. So that is called Betti Bhutanam Agatim Gatim. He knew what is going to happen, a future adversity also. Vidyam avidyam cha. What is the illumination? What is the ignorance? What is that knowledge? And the whole gospel of Sri Ramakrishna are full of that. You should not do this and you should do this. Ignorance and illumination. He knew. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. There's sometimes some people, they don't understand this subtlety and they think that lifting the occult, showing some occult power, that must be God. The one gentleman came here and said, you don't have God here? I said, why? The central over there if you go to shrine. I visited the shrine. The picture of Sri Ramakrishna, he was a great personality I know, but he's not God. Is it? Oh. What do you mean by God? So God means some occult power should be there. When the Rama is God, why? Because they wrote the name Sri Rama on the stone and stone started floating. This type of stories. And the Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill like that. In that case, of course, he didn't show those the power, but he was having these qualities. Utpattim cha vinasham cha bhutanam agatim gatim betti vidyam avidyam cha savacha bhagavaniti. And that is called the Bhagavan. Adi Shankaracharya, while commenting on the Bhagavad Gita, the 3rd chapter, 37 verse, if you read the commentary of the Bhagavad Gita by Shankaracharya, you will find Shankara also quoting from the Vishnu Purana to explain what is God. And to define the God, he says, Oisharayasya, another definition. Oisharayasya samugrasya, Biriyasya, Yashasya, Srihi Jnana Vairagya Yasya Eva Shannam Bhaga Iti Gana. Bhaga means this power. That is six, the power that is mystical power, mystical qualities. What is that? First is Aisharyasya Samagrasya, majesty. Aisharya means majesty, all kind of majesty. And if when we read the 10th chapter, 11th chapter, and in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is going on telling Arjuna, I am this, I am this, I am this. Is he expressing ego? No, no, no. To prove that he is the God, the Lord Krishna is the God because he is having all those qualities. Aisharyasya, anything that you see, the great Himalaya, it is me. The Airavata is the best of all the elephants, it is me. Like that, all best things he was mentioning. Why? Not that in a mass he was telling this best thing. It is me that has been expressed over there. That means I am everywhere. I am God. Aisharyasya Samugra. All. That's called all kinds. Samugra. Samugra means all kinds. Aisharya, majesty. Then Biryasya, that is virtue. All the good qualities that you see, it is me. So these are the qualities, and in the Vishnu Purana it says they have mentioned the 6 good qualities, and they say this eva shannam. Shannam means the shada means shannam is the 6 great qualities, and that one who is having is a God, Ishvara, Bhagavan. Aisharyasya Samugrasya Biryasya, the virtue, Yashasya, the fame, Sri, the beauty, Jnana, knowledge, Vairagya, detachment, Yasya eva Shannam Bhaga iti Gana. So that is called Bhagavan. So this is the way it says that who can be the Bhagavan. Majesty, virtue, fame, beauty, detachment and liberation. Friends, I am trying to understand and also trying to tell you that conception of God. Why? Because the God is our goal. We have to reach to Him. We have to have Him, realize Him, or we can say har, or we can say eat. So that is called the God. So all these qualities, again, He is beyond the quality. That is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, all these things that you see, there is also God, and when there is no quality, that is also God. So sometimes the swaguna is having with quality, sometimes niriguna, without quality. That time also He is there. It is not that the qualities are not there. It is there, but unmanifest. It is not expressing it. This is what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna described. When one attains samadhi, then alone comes the knowledge of Brahman. And that is the realization. Before samadhi it is not possible. What is the samadhi? And the samadhi, we know there are again 2. The samadhi, when we take an object and go and merge into that is one type of samadhi. And when there is no object, our concentration goes straight to that all pervading the consciousness, and that is also the samadhi. But after the samadhi, that means only when one becomes one with that consciousness, one with the God, then only one can understand what is God. Then what happens? This is, he says, the verse we have already, Amrita Sarupa cha. Parama Prema Rupa, the first. And second, he is telling Amrita Sarupa cha. In the first aphorism, the Narada said, come, let us discuss about the devotion. And there he mentioned about indicating about the God. Because we have to realize God. So we, taking the help of the Vishnu Purana and also the Yoga Sutra, we got an idea about God. Now, what type of devotion is necessary to realize God? Because from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, you have to realize God. You have to go into that deep meditation and become one with God or the Supreme. I'm using both the word God at the same time as Narada is mentioning that or it. So, Supreme consciousness. Through the Samadhi, we are going over there. Then to reach to the Samadhi, what path we should take? This is devotion. What type of devotion? Now comes the Narada. He says, Parama Prema Rupa is the full of love, intense love for God. Parama Prema Rupa. The wonderful love for God. And we have already discussed about the love. What is this love? Now when we talk about the love, we can feel, oh yeah, we know about the love. But before we go once again to touch that point, let us, another aphorism which the Narada is telling, and that is the third of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. It says, Amrita Sarupa Cha. And you know, Cha means and. In Sanskrit, Cha means and. So it is continuing. The second one and the third, second aphorism and the third aphorism together. Parama Prema Rupa, Amrita Swarupa Cha. And also it is immortal in nature. First is Prema. And then he says it is immortal Prema. Why? That there is a chance that we make a mistake. But anyway, Narada is trying hard to give us an idea about the devotion. Why it is so difficult? Because unless one gets the vision of God, you won't understand what is the joy of God, joy for God. We are pretending, but slowly, when a young girl, she is loving a baby and cajoling and all those things she is doing, but as long as she is not becoming mother, not having that intense love for the baby. This is the difference. We also like babies. We go and touch them and talk to them and play with them and all those things, we like those. But the mother's love for the baby, the intense love for the baby, unless one can become the mother, one cannot feel. And similarly, unless one realizing God, one won't feel the intense love for God. But we cannot lower down the ideology. So the Narada is telling, it is Parama Prema Rupa, intense love for God, and at the same time, Amrita Sarupa Cha. Amrit Sarupa means it is the nature of immortality. Now first he said Bhakti is the nature of supreme love, Parama Prema, and as if continuing his sentence, he is telling Amrita Sarupa Cha and also immortal. Why Amrita? Why immortal? Because there is a possibility to misunderstand this divine love and conjugal love, the worldly love. Earthly love is also very, very fascinating. The society, all our movies, the stories that people are writing, you just read, it's nothing but the same thing, again and again. And we never feel tired to go and watch the same type of movie and also reading the books. Why? Because we like love. We want to see that. So the love is our nature. From the love only we have born. So that is the thing. Unless and until we go and truly merge with the loved one, we are dissatisfied. The human being can never be satisfied. And their expression for the worldly love so intense because of that. Because of the love, because of the ananda, because of the joy, that is our real nature. So we are going to our real nature, going to merge with that. But sometimes we express that joy, that love in a worldly way. And there are so many stories in the history. The lovers, the mental association and the physical association give them great joy. The earthly love has a similarity with the divine love. But there is a great difference. The earthly love for the earthly love and if you go to India, everybody will talk about, and the moment you talk about love, Taj Mahal, they will say. The great love, the expression of love, and they will be giving the replica of the Taj Mahal to each other as an expression of love, all these things. And then we know that there are many, many stories that for that love, the conjugal love, the earthly love, the lovers, they never hesitated to die even. So obviously we can mix up the divine love and with this conjugal love. The divine love is undying in nature, Amrita Sarupa. What is the difference? This. But the worldly love has a beginning and also has an end. Only a few days before, maybe hardly 1 year or so, there are so many things were written in the newspaper and the TV. They were talking about a great marriage because of the movie star. She was marrying another gentleman, all those things. And then as a great thing, whatever they are doing, going to a tea shop, that was also published, and they're taking up a puppy, and then that was also published, all this. And people are crazy what they are doing. And after 1 year, not even 1 year, now the news they have published, they are going to break. So what is this great love? They are so attached to each other that they cannot leave each other. So everywhere they are going and doing this, that, and afterwards, after 1 year, now that intensity of love, the attraction, and that is gone. So this is the defects of the worldly love. But when it is a divine love, what happens? It begins but never ends. And it only ends by getting the union with the God. And what happens then? Amrita Rupa. It becomes immortal. Why? Immortality, because it becomes God Himself. The devotee becomes God Himself. Go and merge with the God. Divine love has a beginning but no end. There is no breakup in divine love because it is beyond physical consciousness. This is the difference. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna described the prema as the intense love for God that makes one forget the world and forget even his own body, that is, rise above physical consciousness. The conjugal love and the divine love, this is the difference. The Vaishnava Bengal school, they are known as Gaudiya Vaishnava. The Gauda, that was the capital of Bengal in the olden days. So that's why they are Gaudiya Vaishnava. So the main person was the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He developed that. They developed the one personality, wonderful personality, known as Radha. There are many other Vaishnava sects, they don't accept the Radha. But when you see the Radha and Krishna worshipped, that is actually the Bengal school. So Bengal school, they prompted this personality, Radha. Why? And the Radha Krishna, the divine relation, sometimes misrepresented in the form of conjugal love. But the Radha is the symbol of purity, and the purity is always above physical level. The Radha and Krishna, there are so many pictures will be there. And in India, they always publish in the new year, they publish the calendar. And the calendar, there will be dates will be there, important dates will be there. At the same time, there will be a picture. Mostly the ordinary people, they will be having those calendars, exchanging calendars, the companies, that to propagate that they are, this is the company, as a sort of an advertisement, they print the calendar and distribute among the people free. This conception, in the calendar if you go and count, they will be having the pictures of the divine personalities. Majority will be Radha and Krishna. This Radha Krishna conception is so dear to them. But majority of the people, they misunderstand that Radha and Krishna are completely divine. They mix up with the conjugal, and sometimes the singers, they will also sing in such a way as if the Krishna is crying, why Radha is white, I am not white, why I am black, and she is having the complexion, this, that. So many ways they are expressing. One sense it is good, but at the same time, if you are sincere devotee, you have to understand the Radha Krishna are not ordinary human being. And there was no Radha in that sense. It is the devotion, the pure devotion that was framed, that was given a human form as the Radha. Radha is nothing but completely the purity. Radha used to feel that she herself is Krishna. That is the proof of eternal love. Love without break or separation. Amrita Swarupa. When the love is not having any break, it is not like pouring the water. It is as in the Yoga Sutra, they always say, you have to think of that supreme, the self, as if the oil is pouring from one container to another container. Inside the oil, there is no even the air bubble. But the water may have the air bubble, that much. Even that also should not be there. So that is called the complete love pouring from one to another. The devotee's heart is going and pouring with the God. So what is that God? We got some idea. The God is everything. And to understand God, we can say God is love. Now we can understand. And when this is love, is the personification, the love is an abstract idea. If it takes the form, it will take the form of the God, this one. And what is this devotion that we necessary? What kind of devotion? Love for God? Then the Narada, he first says, this is Parama Prema Rupa, supreme love. All the loves that we are having, I love my father, my mother, my wife, my husband, my children, and so many varieties way my love is going out. But it is the Parama Prema Rupa, the supreme love. And all this putting together, if you give it to God, and that is called love. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, a miser, he loves his wealth so much. And even after death, the miser will be thinking that, oh, after the death also I should be here with my property, with my this wealth. So that is called the miserly feeling. The Sri Ramakrishna is telling, as the miser feel for the attraction, attention for the wealth, the same way, O God, allow me so that I can also feel for you. Then another it says that as the Shati is loving for her husband, the Savitri, that all those stories are there, intense love of the chaste wife, and she loves her husband so much so that even though when the death came and she was arguing with the death, how can I be separated from my husband? The beautiful stories are there. So that is called the intense love. Sri Ramakrishna is praying, "Oh God, give that love that the chaste wife was having for her beloved, her husband, that love also." So, and the mother's love for her child. When these three attractions, the excellent attractions, it comes together, if that united way goes to God, and that is called Parama Prema Rupa. We can term that as the Parama Prema Rupa. And this Sri Ramakrishna also giving in different ways. Now we have idea about the God and the love for God, which is the Parama Prema, and also that should be eternal and that should not break, it should continue. Now what is the benefit? Here comes the fourth aphorism. Fourth and fifth aphorism, the Narada will be explaining what are the benefits. What happened? What happened after this love? So all through life I am practicing, I am withdrawing my mind from all the sense objects. I am forgetting not only the world but also my body, my mind, my whole soul, my whole mind is going towards God. I am seeing God, I am hearing God, and I can't think anything else but God. Wonderful. Then what benefit I will have? What will happen to me? So that is also a good question. So Narada is answering, Yam labdva. Now when you are practicing that intense love, then what will happen? You will realize God, you will have the divine vision of God, and then Puman, the devotee, Siddho bhavati, Amrito bhavati, Tripto bhavati. The three things will happen to that person. First is, he will become perfect, Siddho bhavati. Second, Amrito bhavati, he will become immortal. And third, Tripto bhavati, he will become completely satisfied. Friends, first is the word Siddho. What is the meaning Siddhi? In Sanskrit, this word Siddhi is the occult power. If you read the Yoga Darshan, you will find that if you are practicing meditation intensely, you will have one type of the power, and that is called occult power. And we know that in the life of Sri Krishna, so many times he has showed that occult power. And that the excellent one was that he lifted the hill on his finger, on his little finger. The great occult power. Sometimes people believe, sometimes not. And we read in the Ramayana, the Mahavira Hanumanji, just by taking the name of Lord, and he made his body huge and huge. Then he jumped the whole ocean, crossed the ocean by simply jumping. And then reached over there at the gate of that Ravana. And Ravana's palace was closed, and that was guided by someone. The story goes. And he became very humble and became very small. So it can become huge, it can become very small, the tiny, minute thing. So all these qualities, we have already discussed those things, the main 8, the great qualities. But does it mean a person who is having that, the love for God, having that type of siddhi? Then it is of no use. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, of course, automatically they get. Power comes. See, sometimes I feel that if you practice meditation and for the betterment of others, if you are helping others, thinking positive way, then what happens? A love generates within you. And you are concentrating on God, or maybe if you are following the path of the jnana, concentrating on the Atman, trying to realize Atman. Ultimately, for all paths, one thing is common, that you have to forget your ego. You have to give up your ego, the I consciousness. And when you give up the ego, obviously the body, mind, and associated with the body, mind, all things goes away. So this is the two things are only there. One is Chaitanya, the consciousness, another is the world, this material world. So when I am going to the consciousness, I give the material world. Sab chhode, sab paave. When you give up everything, you get everything. And that is true. When we give up everything as a monk, I am telling you, is a long experience. Wherever we go, people like us, love us, help us, feed us, and they become so eager to do that. Why? I am just an ordinary person, only putting on the gerua, the ochre cloth. But just by that, there are many people, and not at all good people, the cheaters, but wearing a gerua, the bhagwa that they call it, the color, the saffron color, just for that. That is the symbol of the renouncers. That is the symbol of the devotees of God. The people get attracted to them. And that proves that God is there. Otherwise, why people will get attracted to those? And those who have done little practice, a little manifestation of the divinity within them, little. But even then, so many attractions. That means God is there and He is love, and love always attracts. That proves. The Siddho Bhavati, he will become perfect. And what is that perfection? There will be no desire at all. Because when one is completely perfect, there is no desire. I don't need anything. But there is a possibility to mistake the Siddhi. The Siddhi, what is that? Occult power. It is nothing but the power, and mind is the source of power. Swami Vivekananda said that mind is the source of power. And through the mind, even you can break if you think in a strong way, you can, that to give the importance on that, Swamiji is telling, even if you are concentrating on a hill can break. And we have seen many of the stories, it says that the Veda Vyasa, he asked the Yamuna to give the path, and immediately the huge river, it gave a path, and both sides there was water, but inside there was a road. So it is possible, occult power. But for that we are loving God? Oh no, that is not. That should not be. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he again and again said that one should not go for the occult power. Why? And he said there are two brothers, as a story, two brothers. One, he remained in the household and he was cultivating and he was selling the product, and like that the family was going on, looking after the parents, looking after the family. His brother went into the jungle to meditate. After 12 years, he came back. He saw his elder brother is tilting the land and doing the duties, the work. He said, "Brother, still you are doing this? You know what I got? I can walk on the water. Do you like to see it?" The brother said, "Okay, after 12 years you have come. Let me have your company. Let me go and see what you like to say." So both the brothers, they went by the side of the river, and then this junior brother said, "See, I will walk on the river and go to the other shore. You won't be able to do that. So take a boat, ferry boat." So they hired a ferry boat. The elder brother hired the ferry boat, and he was on the boat, and this junior brother was walking on the water and reached to the other shore. And this, "Do you see?" A tremendous power now I am having, the occult power. Now, the elder brother said, my brother, after practicing meditation and all that, you have achieved only 1 anna power. 1 anna, just say 1 penny. Why? Because with the 1 penny I crossed this river with the boat. I gave the little money to the boatman and he just helped me to cross the river. And you, after practicing so much and walking on the water, that is also very exertion, and why you are crossing unnecessarily. So by this story, Sri Ramakrishna said, don't give much attention to this. Now friends, I am talking over here, sitting in my own ashrama, and you can see me all over the world. Is it not miracle? Of course it is miracle. This is also occult power. The someone used his mind, concentrated his mind, used his brain, his intellect, then harnessed the nature and used it in such a way that my picture is reaching in to you and also the sound everywhere. This is also occult power. The scientists are also doing the same thing, but when they give the expression and analyze it methodically, it becomes science. As a few years before, was it possible to be like this? And nowadays the pandemic, the new world order is coming. I don't think the normalcy that we were having 1 year before will return back. It will be difficult because psychologically we have separated ourselves, and always there will be the fear, if we go close to a person, I may contaminate. So slowly things will happen like this. The big meetings are happening. Now it will be like this, maybe as we see in the scientific, the science fiction movies. Then one person is talking and he is not only just like a picture. He is present over there as if in person he is present and talking, but in reality he is not there. Like this. It will come. It is occult power. And shall we do it for God realization? I leave this question here with you, and we will discuss about it in our next class. But before we conclude, let me see if there are any question that has come. So please tell the question.
Yeah, so the first question is from Anindita Chakraborty. It's a long question. She's asking, Pranam Maharaj, you mentioned that God is in 6 attributes, majestics, beauties, and then God is beyond all of these.
Yeah.
As one progresses in spiritual path, one starts to realize that. And then she writes, is that what Thakur says when he says in the gospel that God's, in quotes, Aishwarya, reduces as your devotion, love becomes ripe?
Right. Very good. Very good. You have understood this very well, and I think our devotees also will enjoy the way you have expressed it. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned it again and again, and it is automatically that we are attracted to all these, the glamour of the God. Then ultimately, finally, when we truly love Him, then we don't like to see all the attires that He is putting on and presenting before us. Then we just love Him because as a person, or as a love for love's sake, as they say. So that is the way it goes. When you go to a king and we are awe-struck and we go, my God, this is the king. He is sitting on the throne, and so many jewelries are there and people all around and beautiful dress. And to impress the people, the kings, they used to do like that. Then slowly I become very close to the king. I become so friendly. Then sometimes with the bare body the king is sitting and I am also talking with him, because that time all those things are not necessary. The same way, when we go towards the God, in the beginning, he is like this, he is like that, etc., etc. It goes on. then ultimately it is like the love of Jashoda for the baby Krishna. So the Hindus developed this attitude also, the motherly love for the babies, the children. So that is also love for the God. If I don't care, then who will look after the God? That is also a unique way to love God. And we never care whether the God is having all these 6 powers or not. That is called true love. Love for love's sake. Thank you, friends. Now let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude for the next month again. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.